Prabhu, slaughtering of buffalo is legal in our country, though major part of milk comes from the buffaloes.
Yeah. So that's also not good. Somewhere it is because of the pink revolution,
Ji.
in which the meat was being sold out and we became world's #1 beef supplier.
Ji. Still we are at, I think,
And
third
still we are
position.
doing that. Somewhere, of course, it is compulsion as well. And of course, in the beginning, it was to make money.
Ji.
But now we see that currently we are doing that because earlier some contracts were being signed with the countries in the Middle East. They said, okay, we will supply you petrol and you give us the cow and the buffaloes. So that's the deal. And that's why earlier this contract was signed and now we are dragged by that contract.
Ji.
But we see that presently the government is highlighting more on the electric vehicles.
Yes, yes.
Why? So that we rely less on petrol. When we rely less on petrol, so we don't have to give our cows and buffaloes to Middle East
Yes.
for meat eating. So that's why now it is encouraged, go for electric vehicles. And we see that petrol prices were raised to such an extent that people were in this way forced, or say they were inspired rather than being forced to take electrical vehicles. So somewhere it is because of the pink revolution, contract signed a couple of decades back by the government.
Yes.
So that's where this is happening.
It is said that the grain that is exported from India or from other countries to the European countries, that grain is fed to the dogs and other animals, and those animals are slaughtered and eaten by the man.
That's a sad reality actually. So that's where it is happening. But yes, we should respect the cows and buffaloes as well, especially cows. Cow's milk is very, very nourishing. Very, very nourishing for the body. Not just for the body, but for mind as well. It increases sattvika. That means mode of goodness in one's consciousness. So it is very beneficial.
Lord Krishna was an ardent animal lover and advocated sattvic food.
Yeah, that's true.
Your advice to students regarding food habits, food ethics?
Well, for students, I would say, jaisa an vaisa man.
Ji.
And because meat it has got its inherent quality of restlessness. That's why most students become restless. It is difficult to focus them. And also value system also becomes shaky just because I'm taking wrong kind of food. I had a personal experience when I was working in New Jersey. One of my colleagues, her name was Carrie Morris. So her daughter fell ill and she said that, well, you know, you are a believer of God. If you can kindly pray for my daughter. I said, okay, I'll pray for your daughter, but in condition you have to leave something which is your favorite. She said, I like eating meat. I said, if you promise that you will give up meat, so then I'll pray for your daughter. She said, okay, done. So I chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I prayed to the Lord, oh Lord, if you so desire, kindly make her daughter go well, be back in sound health. So of course she recovered by the grace of the Lord. And then I said, Carrie, you promised. She said, yes, I'm giving up meat. So she gave up meat and after 15 days she shared with me that just because I have taken to vegetarianism, I'm feeling far more calm and composed than before. I could not realize that what was the source of my restlessness. But now I feel far more calm and composed just because I have taken vegetarianism. So thank you very much for bringing that condition in my life that I should give meat eating. So I'm feeling more calm and composed. So for students, I would say, in case they want to be more settled, they should actually take to more vegetarian food. Best to, of course, offer to God and then take it. But non-veg food is absolutely no. They can go for non-veg.
Yes.
They can have naan, stuffed naan,
Yes,
and they can have veg.
Yes.
So non-veg is good that ways, but not really non-veg. So meat should not be eaten by the students. That's not good for them to have focus.
It means behavior is linked to our food habits.
Absolutely. Like this is the case study I just shared with you of Carrie Morris. She felt far more calm, composed than before.
In Tripura, sacrifice at Tripureshwari Devi temple is stated funded, so sin will come to all. It is state funded.
Yeah. Somewhere, these kind of rituals, they're part of Karma Kanda, and people do that. Although if somebody reads scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, it is clearly mentioned that in Kali Yuga, which is this age, in this age, there is only one sacrifice recommended, and that is to chant the names of the Lord. Animal sacrifice is not recommended for this age. Actually, in previous ages, it used to happen. But the priests were so potent that they would give human form of life there and then to that animal who's getting sacrificed. Whether it is Gomedh Yagya or Ashwamedh Yagya, they would get human form of life. But currently, we don't have such priests who would give human form of life to that animal. So that's why it is banned in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, there is only one sacrifice recommended. Such states, if they are sponsoring, it is somewhere to cater to the emotions of some local people who are who are attached to such rituals, because from family lineage they are having such rituals, so they are attached to them, and then government just, okay, they are saying, yeah, we are with you in your whatever religious functions you have, okay, we are with you. So that's why they do sponsorship for this. But yes, as per scriptures, as per our Vedic scriptures, it is not recommended in this age of Kali Yuga, the dark age of Kali Yuga.
Cows are smuggled through West Bengal
Yeah.
route with sole purpose of slaughtering
Yes.
them for food.
Yeah.
What is your advice to the Chief Minister of West Bengal?
Well, it's a humble request that her name is Mamta ji.
Ji.
So Mamta ji can show her Mamta towards cows as well,
Yes.
and she can take some strict action. All those who are transferring cows, they are like our mothers actually. Anyone who supplies us milk is actually mother. So cow is actually like our mother. So that's why I can just humbly
Why
request.
not buffalo, Guruji?
Buffalo as well, of course. Buffaloes as well, goat as well.
Ji.
Yeah.
So actually, nowadays we prefer cows instead of buffaloes, goats, and other animals.
Yeah.
Why only cow?
Actually, you see, there's a lot of difference between cow and buffalo.
Ji.
Although we have respect for both of them, we go for survival of both. But for human consumption, it is best to take cow milk. Like in Hindi, there is a proverb, we say, akal badi ya bhais. Because bhais or buffalo is opposite to akal. And you see that when buffalo is getting milked, buffalo gets a lot of milk.
Yes.
But she's so detached at that time that whether the calf of the buffalo is sucking the milk or not, least bothered. In case a buffalo is left to some place, it is very difficult to come back to the original place.
Yes.
She gets lost because she has got such a dull memory. And cow, you leave it even 15 kilometers away, she would come back because she is very intelligent. And we see that this cow milk, it treats many of the diseases in the body. Even cow dung is also very, very helpful. In fact, cow urine has cured many of the skin diseases of many people. But buffalo's dung and buffalo's urine doesn't do any of them. So that's why it is recommended that we should take cow milk, not buffalo milk. Although in terms of survival, we give equal importance to both of them. But we have special respect for cow because cow milk is, although it is thin, cow gives less amount of milk, but it is more nourishing for the body. In fact, cow also used to give 20 liters of milk. It is because of the greed of those who herd the cows. It is because of their greed. They would keep one sand, that is one ox,
Yes.
and get many cows being bred with the same ox. And that's what coming.
Crossbreeding.
Yeah, crossbreeding, but with the same ox. So in this way, they all now become the same family.
Ji.
Like in humans also, if I get married to my chacha's daughter or my bua's daughter, so next generation is weaker.
Yes.
Mother side, people can get married, but not on father's side.
Okay.
But here, the father is now common. So now they are part of one family. So coming generations, the amount of milk which cow supplies, it lessens. So it is because of the greed of the human beings. So otherwise, cow also used to give a lot of milk. But of course, one more reason why people prefer buffalo is that because it gives a lot of milk, and the tea from the buffalo milk is tastier than the cow milk tea, and people prefer tea. So that's why also people prefer buffalo. But actually, in terms of religiosity, in terms of purity of the mind, in terms of good health, cow's milk is best.
But when it comes to the export of beef, India comes at second or third position.
Yeah.
Why the government of India or any other like religious leaders are not coming forward? To stop that?
Because somewhere it is part of the contract for these 20-25 years. We will supply you this much amount of cattle.
Okay.
Part of the contract. So that's why somewhere there is helplessness. Somewhere we are depending on these Arabian countries for petrol, for fuel, for oil. That's why that's also there. That's part of the contract. So that's why they are not raising the voice, because somewhere we are depending on them. That's why it's part of the contract. Compulsion, obligation. Yes, that's true.
Sacrifice of animals, birds to please divine forces at the temple or at any place has continued. Yeah. Why hasn't it stopped?
It has yet not been stopped because people are more ritualistic than being spiritualistic. People are more into rituals. Now, such and such day, these many goats should be killed. One of the reasons why we got an earthquake in a holy place like Badrinath, Kedarnath area, reason people were slaughtering thousands of goats because they are doing so. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
So that's why we see that then we have to face the consequences, because we are doing something which is absolutely undesirable and inappropriate against the animals.
Understanding and practice of self karma. Unconditional care is must for spiritual awakening.
Absolutely, absolutely. More we have negative karma on our part, so that's why then it becomes difficult to become spiritual. Because when we do violence to the animals, it makes us more bestial. More we are bestial in our nature, then it is difficult, of course, to connect to divine. So, and especially those who are doing on the name of karma kanda, they are doing violence to the animals. So then it becomes quite difficult for them to come to divinity, because they are taken to the violent part of spirituality, which is not really spirituality. It is just ritual, dry, mechanical, self-absorbed, egoistic, meaningless, baseless rituals.
Prabhuji, all lives are connected by a divine thread.
Mm.
Compassionate activities towards animals or birds strengthen it, and cruelty weakens the same.
Yes, that's
Is it
true.
so?
Yeah, that's true. It does, absolutely.
Exit of compassion, that is karuna,
Yeah.
from human behavior and entry of karuna are interlinked.
Yes, of course they are interlinked, because everything is working on karma level.
Okay.
So one is individual karma, another is group karma.
Ji.
So what we are facing somewhere, it is group karma.
Okay.
We have been doing violence to the animals, whether it is aquatic animals, whether cattle. We have been doing so much of violence to them, just because we are humans, we are powerful, we are intelligent, we are resourceful,
Yes.
we can enjoy. Come on. So while nature says, "Excuse me, everyone is part of my family." So that is somewhere that karma we have to bear. In fact, we see that a disorientation in terms of sex life also is coming as a karmic reaction, because we are doing violence to the animals.
Okay.
So we are bearing that karma, and that's why we see that children are not happening, and then people are going for IVF. So many problems are there in women, in reproduction. It's happening because somewhere we are not being compassionate. Being most intelligent class among all the 84 lakh species, we have got higher responsibility. And when we do not cater to that higher responsibility, then we have to take the reaction as well. As you might have heard in Spider-Man, with great powers comes great responsibility. So humans have got that great power. So we have to show compassion towards all living beings. Otherwise, we have to face the karma, group karma. Like coronavirus is somewhere, it's a group karma. I could see on the roads during the lockdown,
Yes.
humans were inside, but animals, peacocks and deers, they were on the roads.
They were enjoying.
They were enjoying. Yeah.
Yes. Sincere prayers and compassionate behavior are interlinked.
Yes.
But if prayers involves cruelty to animals,
then it is not
birds,
prayer. It
then
is not prayer.
also compassionate behavior will follow.
Yeah.
Like
if
the
somebody is
sacrifice
praying,
system.
somebody is praying, we have prayers, and I'm okay. Oh, such and such demigod, such and such, my ritualistic, so to say, divine being. I'm doing violence. I'm offering this goat to you. Please kindly accept. This is not really a prayer. It's not really prayer. Prayer is very heart deep. Prayer is very spiritual in nature. Prayer leads to submissiveness. Prayer leads to surrender. Where is all of this? It is not there. So, actually speaking, it is not really prayer. It's a sign of arrogance. It's a sign of egoistic attitude. It's a sign of being exploitative towards all these living beings. So, it is not really prayer.
It means the animal sacrifice that is done at the temples should be banned.
Well, I'm not personally speaking, I'm not happy with that. If they are doing, that's their temple management and government. In case they want to do something, that's up to them. Personally speaking, I don't approve of such actions against animals on the name of spirituality. This is not spirituality. This is clearly violence to the animals.
Still, those spiritual gurus, spiritual leaders are not coming forward.
They would not come forward because they are having good time meat eating. Yeah.
Okay. Means somewhere that is the reason that some spiritual gurus themselves like eating meat. That's why they are not coming forward.
Yeah. Why would they actually get themselves rid of their own delights? So such spiritual leaders are not really spiritual leaders.
Guruji, animals, birds are kept in zoos for human entertainment, knowledge. They suffer for human entertainment.
Yeah.
What is your opinion? Please comment on it.
So zoo has never ever been part of our Vedic culture. People go and see them, and absolutely it's a violence to them. God has made jungles for them to move around, to socialize. That's their natural habitat. But when we are keeping them in zoos, small cages, throwing groundnut on them or popcorns on them, that's certainly insulting them. So I don't agree to this kind of entertainment. Yeah, I don't vouch for it.
Once again, I'll come to the very first question. The question was that cows,
Yeah.
cows, and me. Why there is a discrimination between the cows and buffaloes?
As I told you that discrimination is not in terms of survival.
Okay.
We go for survival of both. Do not say, okay, we're going to slaughter the buffalo, just leave the cows. We never say that. In terms of survival, they both have equal right to survive. But we have extra respect for cow because cow's milk is more nourishing to the brain. Yeah. In fact, cow dung is also good for the body. If somebody has even there was one of our devotees, he had some skin disease, and he showed to various doctors, homeopathy, allopathy, sympathy, all.
Yes.
Everything happened, nothing was happening. So then he just bathed with cow urine for 1 month, and he was free from that skin disease. And even researchers have shown that cow's urine and cow dung has got special antibacterial qualities. And of course, cow milk is really awesome. Awesome. Personally speaking, I used to take buffalo milk earlier. It used to lead to bloating.
Yes.
But cow milk, no bloating. It gets digested, and I feel so nourished. So, and of course, when it is mixed with the cow milk ghee, so that's really awesome. So I can see that cow milk is more beneficial. So that way, in terms of respect, we see that cow gets more respect in comparison to buffalo. But in terms of survival, we say, okay, survival is equal right for both of them.
And the very last question, Prabhuji, how can we decrease the meat eating?
We can decrease meat eating firstly by giving good substitute for meat eating. Like one of our restaurants in Italy, we have ISKCON Italy. There we have vegetarian meat restaurant. What is this vegetarian meat restaurant? What is that? So Nutri, Nutri.
Okay.
They make Nutri, and then they have the masala. They usually use in
Masala of the same.
Masala, which they use in meat eating for making meat. So they have masala, of course, without onion, garlic, and all those obnoxious things.
It doesn't contain any meat item.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Only masala. Only masala, which brings flavor. Actually, meat, if you see, it has got no
Just
flavor.
taste only.
It is, yeah. So for taste, there is masala, but it is actually Nutri, and it is served in just in same way. It looks like that same, but actually it is vegetarian. So, and of course, it is offered to the Lord because it is pure vegetarian, nicely made by devotees, Hare Krishna devotees. So we have this vegetarian meat restaurant. So many of the Italians, they were visiting our restaurant, having this vegetarian meat, which is actually prasadam, and gradually they became devotees. They gave up meat altogether because they could see such a nice substitute, and that too a divine substitute. Wow. Second thing is that creating awareness that how meat eating is not good for us. Actually. And that's why we see that because meat has a quality to get stale quickly, that's why it is kept in fridges. It is not kept in open.
Yes.
Because it has quality to deteriorate quickly, that's why by the time it is quitting the body, sometimes it gets stale. Because we have got large intestines.
Yes.
In carnivorous animals, they have got small intestine. Like the size of the intestine is smaller than in comparison to the humans, and that's why they digest and it exits. But in our body, it gets into throughout the coil, all those intestines. So by the time it is exiting, sometimes it gets stale.
Okay.
And that's why one of the research also mentions, as per Reader's Digest, it mentioned that the diseases like piles comes 85% to those who are non-veg eaters. Why? Because by the time the meat is exiting, it creates something which should not be there, some kind of infection, and in the last part of the intestine. So then they get into piles actually, and piles is such an embarrassing disease.
Yes.
So, but 85% it happens those who are non-vegetarian food eaters. So that's why it happens to them. So that's why we see that because it is more prone to get deteriorated or say it gets decomposed quickly. That's why it is not good. And we see our even teeth structure it resembles more that of herbivorous animals. Although we are omnivorous, we can eat both, but our structure, the teeth structure, resembles more that of the herbivorous animals. And also the stomach pH Actually, the pH of the carnivorous animals is 20 times more than our stomach acid pH. So that's why God has given them
That
more
is,
digestive fire
means
to
acidic.
digest acidic.
Okay.
So they can digest meat.
Okay.
And those who are vegetarian, they are not so powerful. They have lesser strength. But actually, it is also a misconception. I would not praise myself, but during my college days, I had Punjab competition with one of my gym goer friend, and he was a regular meat eater, and we had a Punjab competition, and I easily defeated him. Although for 1 minute we were at one place,
Yes.
but after some time I defeated him. Second time, I defeated him even earlier than before. So that's why it is my own personal experience. I have been vegetarian since my birth. So to say that those who are non-veg eaters, non-vegetarian people, they are having greater strength than those who are vegetarian, absolutely not. We have Dara Singh.
Yes, yes.
Great wrestler. He was vegetarian. Bret Hart Hitman, and at our times he was a great wrestler, ranked 2 in WWE. He was vegetarian. So there have been many such people who are vegetarian. Sylvester Stallone, the Rambo 1, Rambo 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, Rambo 5, vegetarian. So Sylvester Stallone can be vegetarian, Dara Singh can be vegetarian, Bret Hart Hitman can be vegetarian, and they are powerful people. They have strength in their bodies, so they were champions. So that's why it's also a misconception that those who consume meat, they have greater strength. No, it's a misconception.
Prabhuji, any other advice that you want to give to the students?
Well, to students, I would say, since you are preparing, you are studying, so that's why focus comes from the mind. It's a function of the mind. And mind gets affected by the food that we eat. So that's why it is very important what you are eating. So they should consume more vegetarian food, of course, offer to God, and then take it. So that brings the conception of that yes, we have to be grateful to God. Yes, that is also there. So that's why I would recommend all the students, please stick to vegetarian food. In fact, prasaditarian or say Krishnatarian food, offer it to God, and that's why it is very important. And of course, do not overeat. Overeating is also not good for students, because when we eat more, that leads to lethargy, that leads to laziness. So that's why one should not eat too much as well. Or Lord Krishna says the one who eats too much or eats too little, or sleeps too much or sleeps too little, cannot become successful. So that's why it is very important that we should regulate our eating. That's very, very important. And do not consume non-veg food, because when we are eating non-veg food, somewhere we are taking curses of the animals. If somebody cuts you in pieces, you will curse that person. Right? Similarly, animals also, they curse. Because of whom we are getting cut, we curse that person. That those curses, they come from the animals. And being students, we should not take curses. In order to have a bright future, we should not take curses. We should take blessings, actually. So that's why take more blessings, not the curses. And this way you can be more focused by having regulated your eating habits. And then, of course, by God's grace, by working hard, by staying focused, staying away from distractions like mobile phone, internet, girlfriends, boyfriends, you can be successful in your career.
So thank you, Prabhuji, for having taken out a little bit time from your busy schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All the best to all the students.